I want to welcome you to a Christmas edition of the Pantheon of M. I'm your host, Ray, and today we're looking at LEGO, a holiday special. And there's a really good theme about this. Rey, who is now a Jedi, is teaching Finn to become a Jedi, and she's having trouble teaching Finn being a good master to a Padawan. Is it Padawan? I think it is. So she has an opportunity for one day out of the year. You can go back in time and visit all the past Jedi Masters and their Padawans, so Master and Apprentice, and seeing how that dynamic worked, where there was Luke Skywalker and Yoda back in Dagobah, whether it's Anakin and Obi-Wan, or Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, or Vader and the Emperor. So she's able to go back and visit moments in time or in history where there were highlights of when the Master and the Apprentice, or really there was lessons to be learned in hopes of making her a better teacher. Because in the actual movies, Rey kept the books of the Jedi, and this all takes place during Life Days. The rest of the cast is getting ready to celebrate the arrival of Chewbacca and Chewbacca's family, and they're all going to celebrate like a Christmas/Thanksgiving event, and they're all getting ready for food and partying and all that stuff. So that's what's happening on the side. Now this is really like a rabbit hole like succession of like events, because rather than it being like a Christmas Carol where the ghost of Christmas past and Rey kind of visits on the past, she actually is transported to the past. So because they're Jedis, they could sense Rey's presence, so they know she's there. And because of that, this comes back to Endgame, or a lot of the movies that we've been reviewing that deals with time travel. When you go back in time, the slightest thing you can do that will alter the events of time, alter the events of things. So like Loki, if you be going back in time or doing things, you can actually alter the events, which is why he was plucked out of 2012, and he's with the TVA, and he can never go back to where he was because of his ordained future. If you're thinking about things in those terms, like once you open this Pandora's box up, if you talk to somebody of the past, you can alter the set of events, and so by doing so, you completely undo history. So rather than just doing one thing, this is a snowball effect. This thing, Rey goes back. In the beginning, it's kind of fun. She actually sees, Luke about to lift the X-wing fighter with Yoda there, and she sees Quan Chang and Obi-Wan, on an elevator having a discussion. And there are things there are really cool moments that you learn, key moments of learning between how it's not just being a master, but it's being a friend to your apprentice, and building a connection with your apprentice. And it's not always going to be strict. It's teacher, friend. It is a communication. It is an understanding between people of like minds in order to communicate. And she's learning all these special lessons, when she comes back to work with Finn. And so as she goes back, she unfortunately triggers certain things, and there's a snowball effect, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point where it's like Time Bandits, or it's like Time Bandits meets Brazil meets there's a bunch of movies like Primer. Like there's so many of these movies that I can make reference to that deal with time travel, that really plays into this one. Even has a bit of a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There's so many things in this which really is kind of fun. To me, the part with Vader and the Emperor reminds me of Time After Time with H.G. Wells and Jack the Ripper. So there are things, I think, at least the people who wrote this had a really good solid foundation in film history and the idea of time travel. But like the problem with that is that when you the really fun thing about Lego is that it's all fun. It's a lot of it's sight gags, so like it wouldn't really translate on paper. So it's just visual gags, and they work amazingly well in this movie. or this special. And a lot of Lego properties, like Lego, like where there's Lego Guardians, Lego Avengers, it is filled with psych eggs, and all of them work really, really well. And they're funny. And if you've seen the original movies, it's even funnier because then you understand the context of where it comes from. But even if you didn't see where it's from, it's still very, very funny. And there's a lot of like one-liners, or like, things like ice, which is something that happens in the Age of Ultron jokes. They play on the word of getting ice, which is insignificant here. There are things that take place in this special, which are just silly, humorous things. So little kids will get it's kind of like just little like schoolyard humor, and it works for kids, and it works for adults as well who has a history of knowledge of Star Wars, and it works for the kids because it's really fun, light humor, schoolyard humor that kids will love. And this works on it works on those levels, and as such, you'll find an audience. And then, because you have this Back to the Future like rabbit hole effect, once you open the door and they become self-aware of someone from the future has come to the past, and there's a bit of a spiraling effect. I'm saying to myself, well, how is this ever going to end? This is not going to end well. And they kind of do things in a really fun way, and it is sort of like it works. So you have to trust the process that. The guys from Lego, the people who wrote this, knew what they were doing, and it is going to reward you back. And there was, again, the holiday theme. And since it is Christmas Eve, it is the holidays, it's Christmas, this is the kind of thing that kind of gives you a positive, something to live with. Because for those of you who are alone, it's always good to have somebody there, family or friend, to talk to. And this kind of reminds me, if you're alone, go out there, talk to somebody. Go out there, visit somebody, go on the phone, especially in these times, which is kind of crazy, but it leaves you with a really warm feeling. And if nothing else, the sense of companionship, friendship, these are the basic themes of the show that really hits home. And it's about working together and celebration of life, especially in these hard times where things are not, where it's the issue of the issue of life is should be celebrated. It should be celebratory, and that is something this movie does very well. And it is Life Day, which is the equivalent of being Thanksgiving/Christmas, and it's something to rejoice for. And if you look at it like that, in the most simplistic and basic terms, this is a fun movie with a lot of light tunes where kids can enjoy as well as adults, especially those who are fans of Star Wars. And they look going back to moments of time, and there are characters in here which, if you are a diehard fan, you'll be surprised to see. So there are Easter eggs in here too, which I did not know, because my knowledge of the mythology of Star Wars isn't really that heavy, but I do remember certain characters, and a lot of the actors, like Anthony Daniels, like Billy D. Williams, are back to do the voices of these characters, like Lando and C-3PO. So there are treats in this. There are a lot of fun treats in this. There are a lot of cool things for fans of all ages. So it is, I think it's like 44 minutes. Sorry, it's 88 minutes. So this is an actual film. So sorry, it's an actual full length movie, 88 minutes. So if you have time, watch it. It's not necessarily a Christmas movie to watch on Christmas Day, but it's one of the few, if you have one of those 12 days of Christmas movies to watch, give it a shot. It's short, it's sweet, and there's a good message behind it. So on that, I am Ray. I will see you next time. Take care.